Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 17 in the best of 21 between Fuplis and Fredinhiovic. And what an exciting series it has been so far, and I'm really thrilled that we reached a game 17 already. So no easy 11-0 victory for Fuplis as he had anticipated. Fredinhiovic really putting up a fight and showing how much he has improved in recent times. So game 17 is played on slopes, where basically you have these slopes on either side of the map, and on the outskirts you have a lot of food with the pond and the ibex over here on both sides. And in the center you have an Arabia style map with some woodlines, berries, boars, you know it, the usual stuff. So strategy wise, you always want to think about going out to take the food out here, and then also later on the woodline, as you have the big woodlines. But also you need to be wary of attacks, because of course your villagers out here are very exposed to enemy raids. And so something that's strong on this map, I believe, would be a scout opening, because then you're easily able to hit the enemy food production, and at the same time there's so much food that you can easily afford your own scout production. So let's see what the players are going for. Fredinhiovic here having the Magyars, so classic scout rush civilization, and Fuplis has the Franks, who also like to go for the scouts into knights. So we might be seeing some cavalry play. However, we know from Fuplis he is always good for a surprise. He's always good for some laming, for some towers, you know, the usual stuff. So let's see what the players will go for. And yes, we see some early scouting here from Fuplis going forward, trying to steal some pigs. But Fredinhiovic is aware of this, and he's just retasking the pigs to go over here so that they're not stolen. And this is just excellent awareness by Fredinhiovic. This is something that he has really improved on recently. So very, very nicely done. And so with this, Fuplis was not able to find any damage, wasn't able to steal and lame any pigs, and no damage was done. And now we see what we talked about. I believe Fredinhiovic is going out here to take the shorefish, which is juicy 200 food each, and the ibex. However, Fuplis' scout is looming around, and speaking of loom, there is no loom on Fredinhiovic's villagers, and so this could be bad, but Fuplis, as of yet, does not suspect this move by Fredinhiovic. Now we can switch through the player's point of view to see how far along they are in the game. So 14 villagers both, and no loom, but I think with 3 villagers he might be able to fight the scout here. But the scout definitely will be annoying if Fuplis realizes this. And at the same time, Fredinhiovic is about to lose his scout, but some good micro can save it. And yes, very nicely done here again from Fredinhiovic, but also nicely done from Fuplis to try to do the quick wall. But so far we don't see any food being taken here by Fredinhiovic, and or by Fuplis, I'm sorry. So he is going for more traditional Arabia style approach, where he takes all the food underneath the town center, 14 on food, so he wants to go up quickly, I presume. And if we go to his point of view, his food should be skyrocketing, and he's already at almost 200, so he will be quick up to the next stage, but then he will have a little bit of a drought in terms of food, and he is 10 food shy of the 500. He needs to go up to the fuel age. Now he has it, he can go up. No, he is queuing another villager. Curious. It looked like he wanted to force drop off to really go for that early aggression, to go up early, but instead he kind of fumbled, didn't have enough, and now has 1 villager more and still can't go up. But now he should be able to be on his way to the next age. Meanwhile, Fredinhiovic, he is going for loom, and then he will click up in no time. He's prepping the barracks, he's prepping the walls, he has a plan for this map. So nice Nice to see him execute a strategy. We can see that he already took the shorefish. By this point, when Food Please's attack will arrive, these villagers will have taken so much food that it's already worth it to build a mill. So far they have gathered around 330 something, 40 something food, and that's already worth it in my book. So yeah, very nicely done by him, whereas Food Please dropped the mill more conservatively on the berries. And we don't see a mill yet on the berries for Frediniovic, and the berries are of course much safer than this food on the outside, so he can always fall back to that and get food here. So overall, I think I like the approach from Frediniovic a little bit better. I think he also is ahead by one villager, although I think Food Please might be slightly ahead in terms of feudal timing. Yes, indeed. So he is ahead in feudal timing, and he sees the oversaturated berries and is just laughing at his opponent, because that's just not what you want to see on this map with at this point 11 villagers or 10 villagers on berries. Now both players in feudal age, and so we expected scouts, but the scout from Frediniovic is weak, of course, and so this is an easy pickoff for Food Please, or should be an easy pickoff. Yes, it is. We see some walling, which is always wise, even if you are attacking, if you're the aggressor. It's always good to be safe in the back of your home. And so what we saw is that Frediniovic took a lot of food, but now he has vacated this position with his villagers. He also has to pay royalties to Food Please for this kind of economy he has here. And interestingly, the first unit out from Frediniovic is actually a spearman. But of course the scouts will follow, and the Magyars, they have +1 attack on their scouts, and the scouts are also cheaper by 15% to be precise. And so in principle they match up very nicely against the Franks, who do have the slight bonus in hit points, but I think overall it's pretty even, and once you get bloodlines, then of course the Magyar scouts are much better. Now the scouts from Food Please, they try to move in. All this side is already walled, so nicely done here by Frediniovic. He has spearmen here, spearmen here. Here this is protected by the town center. He cannot really run in here. So very nicely done here by Frediniovic. There's no angle of attack for Food Please, and I think this early food economy is really giving him the upper hand here. Let's look at Food Please's base. He probably has to seed a lot of farms. No, he's now moving out to the side, but now it becomes much more dangerous. Once these scouts try to move out, try to hit the side, then those villages will be in peril. However, Food Please has scouts of his own, so he will be able to intercept the scouts, but at the same time he has to always be on the defensive so that these villagers are not being hurt. I think Freddy could have taken a little bit more food here, maybe, but always a wise decision to try to play defensively and try to not lose everything. And now with the Spearman, I really like more the positioning from Freddy, and we can see it. The scouts are getting cleaned up from Food Please, and the +1 attack really helps here as well, as the scouts do 6 instead of 5 damage. But Food Please really producing a lot of scouts, and now I think will start to struggle for food, but at least he will have the numbers to try to overwhelm Freddy in this scout battle, and this is exactly what we expected in the beginning. Now Frediniovic on the other hand, he produces a couple more spearmen. He wants to be safe at home, also more scouts and more villagers, of course, and overall he is 1 villager ahead. But I think the scout mass kind of getting scary at this point, but I think a few pokes by the spearman and another scout will go down, and that's always a worthwhile trade, I would say. Like, just sacrificing 1 spearman for a scout, I think it's worth it. And so yes, at some point you want to focus down the spearman. Like in this situation, no scout was lost, the spearman was focused down, but at the same time You always need to be careful not to lose absolutely everything. And yeah, with these spearmen in the mix, more scouts get picked off, and the tide has turned. And I think now Freddy should think about just attacking here. I mean, not that much is happening here, just as we go over there. Fuplis also realizes that there are idols, and he also has some spearmen, so nicely done from him. So instead, maybe Freddy should just loop around, hit the wood line. What an ugly wood line at this point. I mean, I should not complain, but I think at some point this is maybe starting or to get to the point where you want to move out to the wood line near the edges. But certainly later on, when you drop your second TC, that's a prime location. But of course, that means that your economy is spread out by quite a bit. And I think now it's a race to Castle Age, and I think Freddy is winning on that front. He has more food. He has 20 on food, whereas Fuplis only has 16 on food. And now it happens what we have discussed, that this woodline is vulnerable. Of course, Fuplis, he reacts. He's a quick player, but this is just so annoying. The scouts just going in and out and in and out and in and out. And there might be one villager going down. Yes, one villager gets picked off, and I think that's absolutely worth it. And these scouts, they're like, want to do damage. 7 scouts by the Franks. We want and we need to do damage, but no damage to be found here. And we have a lot of spearmen here, so not much that Fuplis can do at this point, actually. So the walls really paying off on this side. No attack coming in from here. And this just goes to show that walling is super, super important in Age of Empires. And yes, I think Fuplis should not fight this. I think this is just a little bit too much. I think better would be to try to roam around, and then you can wait for the overchop here. Once this tree here is chopped down, then you can just run in with the scouts and wreak havoc. And maybe Freddy is overproducing a little bit on the spearmen, but at the same time they're then also good defense against the first knights once your opponent reaches the Castle Age. Now Freddy is on the way to Castle Age. Fuplis is not quite yet, but I think he will be soon. He's just lacking a little bit of gold and only has 2 on gold, so it's a little bit unbalanced in his economy, but now he's sending the 3rd one over, and with some forced dropping off here, he should be able to go to the next stage. But at the same time, he's idling his town center because he wanted to click up, but then he wasn't quite there, and in this situation, just produce another villager. It's usually worth it. And now here when you see some defensive houses coming up, nice reaction there. He could have also tried to repair, but he probably figured, well, let's just build 2 more houses. It's probably quicker and more efficient than whatever else he could do than the repairs. And yes, so the scouts cannot break in. Both players on the way to the next stage. Fuplis now getting the armor upgrade. Fredinhiovic getting bloodlines, which is of course necessary for the Magyars, but not for the Franks, because the Franks get plus 20% HP on their cavalry anyways. So the knights have 120 hit points from the get-go. But at the same time, the Magyars get the 2nd attack upgrade in the Castle Age for free, so they also have a very strong bonus there. And let's see what the players are going for. Of course, double stable knights. What else would we expect? Now for Fuplis, I presume the same. Yes, although he's of course not there yet. Also getting out a forging upgrade. So I think this will be a very even game, although I have to give a slight lead to Fredinhiovic, or even a sizable lead at this point. He has 36 villagers, and is already up to the Castle Age. 37 at this point, and he already has the first knights, he has the spearmen, and these scouts are pretty useless by that point. Fuplis saying ouch, because he lost a lot of scouts here, a lot of HP on the scouts, and yeah, they're basically a dead unit. It's a lot of food that's actually not being properly used, and now the knights, they know where they want to go. They want to go out here to catch these villagers, but those villagers are not working at all, so why even bother at this point? And now there's a scout trying to just see what's going on, see where Freddy could be hit. at this point, but more knights are coming out, but also more knights from Food Please. And I think Freddy needs to keep his army together. He cannot overextend. He needs to be able to beat Food Please in a one-on-one, head-on battle, and only then can he push forward. So brazenly, but of course, splitting can be very good because then you can raid at the same time, but no damage to be found here. Freddy also lacking defense upgrades, and then also the town centers can do a lot of damage to your knights. So that's something that he really should focus on, because he already has the attack upgrade, so he saved a lot of resources there. So just get at least one defense upgrade. That's worth so much at this point. But still, Freddy having a strong lead, population lead. Food Please now having the second town center. Freddy also going for the second town center, while at the same time producing from 2 stables. So this is really strong, especially on this map, it seems. And now Freddy also knocking on the door of Food Please, but not quite able to break in. He is looking for a way to deal damage, but also not finding any villagers near the food on the sides. Now these 3 knights are getting caught out. They're probably on stand ground or something, but with a little bit of hill advantage, he can find some nice damage on the enemy knights. And look at this mass of units here by our player in blue, by Fredinhiovic. I think he's just outproducing Food Please because he does have the better economy setup. He was earlier to the castle age, and he just has the better setup. He's now going for wheelbarrow. He has the bow saw now, so already the second wood upgrade, and just looks very smooth for him. Very easy going. He has a nice farming economy out here. I would love him to get some more farms around the secondary town center, but yeah, he still has like 6 knights queued. Was already a little bit much. That's why he cancelled a few to create more villagers. And now this is what I expected from Food Please, is the monk defense, which is very strong against the knights, and Food Please starts to love the monks more and more. After he was traumatized in childhood, when he was facing an endless army of monks, he wasn't able to deal with it. Probably like 20 years ago, he now has discovered the monks for himself. And I think Freddy needs to be careful, because there will be some spearmen or pikemen popping out of here. Probably just spearmen at this point, yes. So you don't want to lose all your units. And now we have monk, and I think Freddy needs to retreat here. Don't give away a knight for free, and that's exactly what happened. But I think Freddy still overall in the lead. He has 20 military to 15, although surprisingly, and this is something that's a little bit sloppy, Freddy now losing this advantage in terms of villages, and this is even though both players have 2 town centers. And I think the next resource that will be a little bit sparse will be the wood, although both players still have a lot of wood light in their base, but at some point they will have to move out to the side. But this is a disastrous fight for Food Please. He's just engaging the pikemen from Fredinhiovic, and that's just disastrous, because you just lose your knights for free, basically, because pikemen are worthless, they're trash. But they're very strong, of course, against the knights. But now with 2 monks in the fray, this could be dangerous for Fredinhiovic. Another knight converted, and that is the power of monks. How do you engage this position? But of course the pikemen, they just deal free damage. Of course they're getting mowed down by now, but still a lot of damage being dealt to the knights of Food Please. And just constant production by Fredinhiovic, who also now has returned to the art of creating villagers, widening the gap a little bit more, and also all the villagers have worked all the time. And Food Please seemingly now switching to full on monk defense, now getting sanctity. Sanctity, of course, giving more hit points to the monks, if I recall correctly. And he probably also wants to get fervor if it is available. Yes, it is available, where the monks move faster. And so those are the 2 basic monk upgrades. So of course most people have no idea what these upgrades in the monastery actually do. Whenever they play with monks, they just click random upgrades and then hope that it works. But if you seriously want to play with them, just get Fervor and Sanctity. Those are the two most important ones. And then in the Imperial Age, once you really go for a strong monk play, you also want to get more upgrades like block printing, which is +3 range for monks. So in total, 12 monks. Or if you face siege, then you want to go for Redemption, which gives you the ability to convert siege weapons and also enemy buildings. And there's of course a lot of other upgrades, but we don't need to go into detail here. And now Freddy is switching to full-on light calf production, and of course they're very cheap, and so if you have excess food, why not? Why not switch to light calf? However, what's worrying me is that he stopped the night production. Of course, light calf also have bonus damage against the monks, but where are the light calf? They're just out of position. By the time they reach the monks, it's already too late. So I think better would be in this situation to just overpower your opponent with numbers. Strength in numbers, boys. That's what this is all about. But of course, Fuplis losing all the monks in the process, but Freddy losing all his army in the process. And so I don't think I don't think this is a very good trade for Freddy, because yes, he has killed the monks, but now Fuplis has more knights. And we have seen a lot of light calf or scout versus knight fights in the series, always to the benefit of Fuplis, who always had the knights, and Freddy always had the light calf or the scouts. Yeah, so we've reached a little bit low in the action now. Freddy producing from 3 stables. Also now finally getting the first armor upgrade, which is crucial, especially if you also use light calf. You need as much help as you can get. Fuplis on the other hand has +2 attack, but only +1 defense, so he's also lacking a defense upgrade there. But it's very difficult to get all the upgrades, to get enough resources, to get everything at the same time, while you're still producing from 3 stables. Now let's look at the point of view of Fuplis. Oh, he is not thinking about more knights, he is thinking about the offensive. He has meanwhile dropped a sneaky siege workshop on the side, and he's prepping the rams. And Fuplis, or rather Fredinhiovic, taking another not so great engagement here. I don't know what he's doing. He's basically throwing at this point, throwing the game by, again, light calves. He really goes for this unit quite often, and it never really works. Instead, just go for overwhelming knight numbers, and that's just so much better. But maybe he can turn this around by some nice conversions, and indeed he gets a good conversion over here, and now suddenly he has the numbers, and Fuplis has to retreat, but there is this menace from the side, the siege workshop loaded with rams. Now Fuplis going for the stone mining upgrade, and we all know what that means. That's basically castle drop incoming, and knowing Fuplis, he is like, okay, I'm just gonna drop this forward. Because why would you drop a castle backwards? Why drop it here to defend your goal? Like, what's the point? So I think he will just drop it forward. And Freddy also bringing a spectator to this fight between the 2 Knight Masters, and it seems like finally Freddy has overpowered Fuplis, and that is just because of the triple stable production, or now even whatever 5-6 stable production that Freddy has been doing, while Fuplis was kind of memeing and struggling here, having a lot of rams, but the rams are pretty useless at this point when he is getting flooded by knights and light calf, and now the castle doesn't come up from Fuplis, but rather from Fredinhiovic, and now Fredinhiovic is in the economy of Fuplis, and this is just overwhelming. Look at this amount of blue swarming into the economy of Fuplis, who is of course trying his sneaky counterattack, but it's just rams. I think this is the wrong response, because they will just get rammed down, these houses. Instead you should just attack with your villagers, but still nice response. And at the same time, now a castle in the front, there's knights underneath the town center, the villagers are being killed like flies. Look at the population difference here. and there's not much that Fuplis can do. Yes, this is a cutesy little attack, but just these two knights, they will just clean these rams up. I mean, maybe one town center falls. That's certainly possible that the starting town center will get picked off, especially with the melee pathing of the knights. I think that is certainly possible, but nothing of consequence, as all the villagers of Fuplis are idle in these town centers. I mean, there's some now on the wood line and some migrating. And yes, here is the castle that we speculated about, but this is never going to come up. And instead, we will see the strong position from Fredinhiovic growing stronger and stronger. He's able to pick up more villagers left and right. Now finally having the +2 defense, and this is just a scary army. And the monk cannot escape, the villagers cannot escape, and I think Fuplis cannot escape the wrath of Fredinhiovic in game number 17 of the best of 21. And I think this is just a matter of seconds until Fuplis calls this. I mean, you think he wants to do this final castle drop over here just to prove a point, just to show this is what I had planned. But I think he was just a little bit too cute with this move. I mean, maybe against a lesser player, maybe against the flustered Gummy Bear, no offense, this would have flown, but not against Fredinhiovic, and I think also the castle might be denied, might not be denied. It's anyways not of consequence. Even if this goes up, what's the point? And yeah, it's probably not even going up. And please also GG. And game number 17 is over, I guess. Not quite. We had a small stutter there. And will the castle be finished? Yes. Because this villager is walled in, I think. Fuplo is now laughing, of course. But yes, the castle will go up. But I mean, what is left for Fuplis? Fuplis at 10 pop, and there's no chance back. There's a castle drop here from Fredinhiovic, and yeah, there's no way for Fuplis to do anything here. Yes, his castle's up. He will shoot down the town center, but the game is over, and this series is still going strong. I mean, we have seen game 17, and I think we're ready for game 18. But we can quickly look at the stats, and it was pretty evenly matched. But I think Freddy just, in every age, in every situation, had a little bit better plan. He went to the food early. This gave him a boost in the feudal age, where he did a very nice defense with the walls, with the spearman. And then he was just able to outproduce Fuplis, outperform, and then just you look at the population falling off a cliff here. Alright guys, this was game number 17, and I am hyped for game number 18.